I don't know why they're together. She seems to hate him. And then it turns into, oh, can you get wet? What? Hi, my name is Lacey, and welcome to my recaps of episodes 5 through 8 of the Ultimatum Season 2. If you didn't already, I've already reviewed episodes 1 through 4, and I also did recaps of Queer Love Ultimatum, and I also did Season 1 of Ultimatum. So check those out after this if you haven't already. If you like my content, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. I'm trying to reach 100 subscribers by the end of the year, and your support means everything to me, so thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So we are still in the trial marriages. We have Roxanne and Alex, who are meeting with Roxanne's parents, and they are talking about how her dad specifically is like, can you live up to her? Can you open doors for her? And Alex is like, yeah, I totally can do that. Totally can do that. And they're talking about how marriage is the most important decision of somebody's life, and you need to be 100% ready. Dad is very, very strict about respecting the in-laws, damn it. And he wants to have kids fast. It's just like, they ask why Alex likes Roxanne, and he says that she challenges him. And then Roxanne's dad asks if Alex would marry himself. And after a second, it was like, what? And then he's like, yes. And he said, why? And Alex pulled something out, and her dad was satisfied. Trey and Ryan meet Ryan's brother and brother's girlfriend, or brother or sister-in-law. I don't know. She does most of the talking regardless. They ask how it was. They just want what's best for Ryan. They say that James hasn't always put her first, and that they ask if she's willing to say no and put her foot down if he doesn't propose, and she says, yes, I have the balls. And her brother likes the match between Ryan and Trey. The guys go out to the bar, and the girls go out to the bar, and they all intermingle and chat about their trial marriages and get on everybody's nerves. We'll do the ladies first. So on girls' night, Kat is saying that she likes Antonio's conspiracy theories, and he's fun, and he's invested in something, and Roxanne's like, I hate him. Those suck. Tell us how you really feel, Roxanne. Roxanne and Alex talk about business stuff all the time, and I don't care because they are boring. And then Roxanne goes and says, I would sleep with Alex, and he would sleep with me if I asked him to. And Kat's right there. The fuck are you doing? Raya tells Ryan about the fight with James, and Ryan is saying, well, I didn't give him any boundaries. Like, he's a grown man. He can do what he wants. Raya says that James clearly loves Ryan, and she is his number one. Then Roxanne continues to talk trash about Alex to Kat, and Kat's just like, yeah, yeah, okay. She's like, Roxanne's like, oh, he's white lies. He's talking about opening doors, and he never does. He's a liar. At the guys' night, they're all talking about how they're opening up and being more vulnerable, learning a lot about themselves, what they want, what they don't want. James feels nervous that Trey and Ryan are hitting it off and their dates and stuff like that. He also explains the fight with Raya to Trey, and Trey's like, well, she thought that you thought that she wanted to have sex with you, and she didn't. She just wanted hugs, affection, touch, anything. Alex tries to tell Antonio that Roxanne does not respect Antonio. Antonio takes it that Alex wants Roxanne, and Alex does not want Roxanne. And so Antonio's like, tell me to my face, just talk bad about me. And Alex is like, she just doesn't respect you. I don't know what you want me to say. Like, that's it. And he's like, well, what did she actually say with her mouth? And he's like, I don't know. This is just my interpretation of it. It seems like she doesn't respect you. She doesn't. James and Trey continue to talk about their trial marriages, and James is kind of trying to convince Trey not to marry Raya, that she's not ready. And it's like, what the fuck do you know, James? You won't even touch her. You won't even shake her fucking hand. Moving right along to episode 6. Antonio and Kat, this is after the guys' night and girls' night out. Antonio thinks that Alex is after Roxanne, and Kat's like, I really don't think so. Even Alex's parents told Kat that Roxanne doesn't like Antonio. And it's like, why would they bother? Why would they lie about that? So Antonio's just not believing it. He's freaking out, thinking that Roxanne, or that Alex is lying about Roxanne. So Antonio calls Roxanne, and he says, why does he think you don't respect me? And Roxanne's like, I don't want to talk about this over the phone. You come here now. Then, while Antonio was out running to Roxanne, or just running away, Roxanne pulls Alex and she's like, hey, how was guys' night? And he said, oh, it was fine. It was fun. Cool. And she's like, why did you tell Antonio that I don't respect him? And he's like, oh, because you don't. I thought Alex was being kind of a dick here, to be honest. But Roxanne's not great either. Also, Roxanne kind of reminds me of Leah Remini. Just a little bit. Alex says that she's not confident, and so she takes out her anger and her issues on Antonio. He's her whipping boy, and she said, I told you those things in confidence, like, why are you're not loyal? And it's like, oh, so you are saying that you said you don't respect him. You're admitting it. Okay. She calls Alex fake and untrustworthy, but it's really kind of the other way around. They fight, and he says, you're not my mom, you're not the boss of me, and a mature, respectable woman would understand that. Trey and Ryan are doing great. Meanwhile, everybody else is fighting, and they're having a grand old time. Raya and James they kind of have a conversation before bed, but nothing much is said. Antonio makes it to Roxanne, and he's crying and upset, and she's holding him, and he's blaming it all on Alex, saying Alex is lying, and she's blaming it all on Alex, saying Alex is lying because I don't know, she just wants to hold on to Antonio for some reason. Antonio kind of wants to leave, and she does not. She wants to finish the experience. The final day of the trial marriages, James and Raya, he apologizes for shutting off as soon as he moved in. He also apologizes for not giving her what she needed because he got what he needed from her. He opened up a little bit about his mom, and then he realized that he really wanted Ryan. She said, I think you're still not telling me stuff. And he says, yeah, there is, but I'm not going to. And it's like, okay. They're happy they didn't give up, and they were happy to finally have a conversation. I was rooting for them at first, and then it just kind of imploded. Ryan and Trey are saying their goodbyes, and he's gonna miss Blanche, the dog. He asks what they're gonna do about the photos that they took of themselves up in the apartment, and she gives him a photo album, and they put all the photos in it together, and then they have a nice little final day. Roxanne apologizes to Alex for the way she said things, the way she went about things the night before or the other night. And he's like, okay, thanks. And she's like, you're not going to give me an apology? He goes, no. Nope. Antonio apparently in the night took he didn't come home. He didn't come home to Kat that night. And then when Kat came back home from work, all of his stuff was gone. So he just couldn't handle it, so he took all his shit and left. He comes back and he says, I owed you an apology. I'm sorry I left, but I got what I needed, and I'm done with the trial marriage. She said it's not fair, but she was trying, and she calls him immature for leaving the situation. It is time for the changeover, and Vanessa is back. They go around the table and kind of discuss what they learned in their trial marriage. Ryan and Trey, Trey announces that he has feelings for Ryan. Raya is not happy. She's actually very upset. They say how they were great at communication. There were no fights. And Ryan also has feelings, but not like feeling. James wants what's best for Ryan, but would prefer if it was him and not Trey. Trey says he still wants to pursue things with Raya, but she said it's going to be hard because he has feelings for somebody else. So she doesn't sure how to get over that. She says she's hurt. Antonio said he learned how to be a man throughout this experience. He said he fucked up by leaving because he put up walls about the Roxanne situation with Kat. Roxanne didn't get understanding from Alex. She's mad at him for being angry and not putting in effort, whereas Alex blames Roxanne. He doubles down on how Roxanne disrespects Antonio. And then Kat also backs up Alex and his parents for saying that Roxanne didn't respect Antonio. Moving on to episode 7. We are with the original couples now. Roxanne and Antonio, they have sexy time immediately, and she is not shy about saying she initiated it. He got her roses, he made her breakfast, and he's confident that he's going to work on things and prove it to her. She said she's going to work on saying, I love you more. He's working on being more thoughtful and planning more dates. And Alex opened up her mind to marrying and marriage can work with a career. Kat and Alex, he says he's not vulnerable or verbal, and he feels like he needs to be tough because she's kind of on the meeker side, so he's like making up for that meekness with his manliness. She has to ask for words of affirmation. He doesn't get it because he's like, well, that does nothing for me. And it's like, well, it's not about you. It's about her. Ryan and James. She brings up Trey and matching clothes all the time. And James is like, I'm done with listening about you and Trey. Can we just not? I don't care. She doesn't think that James takes her seriously. She says that she doesn't think that he ever thought he would lose her or could lose her. She doesn't want to settle, and she wants to be first priority. He says that he does want her, and she says, well, you got to prove that it's better and new now. And this is it, and if you can't provide, then she's out. Raya and Trey are talking about their marriage and their relationships, and he says that he does want to be with her, but she's still having a hard time with him having feelings for Ryan. And so she's like, it hurts too much. It's weird. And I'm trying to get over it. I'm trying, but it's difficult. And then they talk about what she wants in a marriage, and she wants to go live in the city for a year. He wants to settle down immediately with a house and kids, etc. And so he suggests maybe he starts the house and she goes and lives in the city. And she's like, no, I want to be with you. I want to work together on this. Why don't you come in the city with me, live for a year, and then she'll go wherever he wants. And he said, I do not want to live in the city. No. 10 days left. Kat and Alex are meeting with Kat's friends. They don't like Alex. They think that he doesn't put her first. They don't know how he can't not know that he wants to marry her or doesn't want to marry her. He's trying to figure it out, but he's kind of full of bullshit at this point in time. Roxanne and Antonio, she is hugging the cat and saying how much she loves the cat, and then he turns around and is like, I love you. And she's like, so much for working on saying I love you. So he gets upset, and then she gets upset, and it's just, he doesn't feel good enough. She mentions, oh, like there are different leagues in sports. And he's like, oh, so you're in a different league? And she's like, no, I'm just in a different phase of my life. He needs more words of affirmation, and she's basically like, if you want to go play with 20-year-olds and act like a 20-year-old, go. I don't know why they're together. She seems to hate him. Trey and Raya go see her sister, and they're talking about their relationship, and the sister's like, oh, I've never seen you guys so, in touch, or I lovey-dovey, so that's really good. And then it turns into, oh, can you get wet? What? It's like Fingergate all over again. So apparently, Raya cannot get sexually aroused with Trey. Over the 2 years that they've been together, he can get satisfied, but she cannot. So then Trey excuses himself because he's like, this is awkward as fuck. And they talk about, well, maybe Raya's into kink, so maybe she should try some stuff. And why not? Raya also asks her sister, like, how can I get over this hurt? Because he has feelings for Ryan. And her sister says, well, you know what? Give him credit for being honest with you, because a lot of guys wouldn't do that. So he's honest with you, but you have to just learn how to forgive and kind of move forward. Ryan and James. We get camera footage of them arguing at 1 a.m. Apparently she moved her hands too fast and it triggered him in some sort of way because his mom used to abuse him, is what I gathered from this. But they fight for like hours, and it's just going back and forth for like until like 3 or 4 a.m. And then eventually she's like, I don't know what triggers you. You got to explain this to me. Got to talk to me. Otherwise I don't know how to help. And eventually he apologizes in bed at 3:40 a.m. The next day, they go on a picnic, and he apologizes again for everything last night. And then he opens up about his traumatic past and why he has the triggers that he does. And apparently, so his dad left or died, I can't remember, sorry. And his mom was a truck driver, is a truck driver, and so he never felt like he could live up to this perfect image of his father, so he would cut himself. He even cut himself into the relationship with Ryan, and she never knew. So it is a very emotional and intimate conversation where he really opens up and he lets Ryan in, and she's crying, he's crying, and it's like, okay, this needed to happen. He said that he was scared she would judge him and that it's always been her and she's the love of his life. Episode 8. Ryan and James meet up with his mom, who is very much into money, and she's basically saying that James wants to go to SpaceX or something like that for work, but Ryan doesn't want to move far away from her family. And so his mom is like, I don't want you to resent Ryan for making you stay, not following your dreams. You should go where the money is, because that's where what her mindset is. So it's a little icky to watch. Later, though, Ryan and James talk about moving in together, and he's like, oh, can I move in, or let's move in together? And she's like, no, because you would procrastinate even more. We've been procrastinating this entire time, so if you're living with me, then what's the incentive for you to want to marry me? Good question. Raya and Trey are happy they started the hard conversations, and they're still not agreeing on the long distance thing, but he does say that he will give it some thought, which is progress, baby steps. Alex and Kat see Alex's parents, and he says how much he appreciates her more after being with Roxanne because he couldn't stand Roxanne. He said they're a good balance of each other, and he likes the debates that they do have. On their last night together, Kat is saying how she's optimistic and glad they did this, and he is also glad that they did this, but it seemed to me like he was kind of out at this point. He's like, yeah, glad we did it. Antonio and Roxanne see her parents again, and they actually, I'm glad that they give her shit this time. Her dad is like, well, what are you doing, Roxanne? What are you doing for him? Because Antonio is clearly trying to get the job. He's trying to plan dates. He's doing all this stuff. What are you doing for him? It's like pretty much just saying, I love you, and giving him words of affirmation. She can't do it because she doesn't feel it. She does say that they're on the right track, though, and Antonio is tired of her micromanaging. He wants her to trust him. The night before they separate, their final night together, Antonio and Roxanne are talking about how Roxanne would be a good wife. And he's like, why do you think you'd make a good wife? And she says, oh, I'm considerate. You know, I get things done. And he's like, yeah, I think you are considerate. And then he says, well, what would you say to me if this was our last time seeing each other? Silence. And episode 8 ends on a cliffhanger with Raya and Trey's ultimatum, but we'll see everything in the next episode. What did you guys think of episodes 5 through 8 of the ultimatum? Honestly, it wasn't really that interesting after episodes 1 through 3, the Lisa and Brian drama, but that pissed me off. So I don't know if I could stand full 8 episodes with them. Her. What did you guys think of these 8 episodes of the Ultimatum Season 2? Leave me a comment down below. Please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and I will see you in the next one for the finale and the reunion. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.